hello everybody, here's your Niall Sebastian Power Sieger from CIEmbassy.com. Today I'm presenting you again universal communication with creatures which have lived as human beings before and which them have lost their human body. Today I'm in Bonn in the Rheinau in Germany, and I'm in a public park. So some people chilling here and they're grilling, and I have a few cameras here, so maybe you will see some smoke from the grill in a few of the camera situations. Do not wonder about that. And in the background you see a beautiful little forest, like with some trees. I'm going to present you the area with a mobile camera very soon. And creatures which have lived as human beings before and which have lost their own human body, they're sometimes able to communicate by using the natural environment. For example, the weather. For example, to be more specific, the wind. And that is what you're going to see in the video material here, because I'm going to communicate with creatures which have lived as human beings before, and they're going to present themselves by using the wind, by triggering the wind, by canalizing the wind to specific areas. And in that way I also can communicate with them in a way that it is to you, transparent to you, the people which are watching the video later. For example, if creatures which have lived as human beings before want to answer a question, because I maybe have asked a question, and if they want to say yes, they can trigger the wind level to a higher wind level to agree to stuff when I ask them questions, for example. And in that way communication is possible, and it is possible to ask questions and to solve questions. As I said, today I'm here in Bonn in the Rheinau in a park. I'm going to present you the area a little bit so that you know where we are, that you can see what's going on. That is the little forest area behind me, what you see. And when I turn around, you see behind me one of the first cameras, and there are other cameras in the background as well. And this tool you see behind me is a wind tool, which makes it possible for the creatures which have lived as human beings before to communicate very specific with you, the people which are watching the videos, because you can watch the wind tool closely. But also you can watch the plants behind me, because you may be going to realize that the creatures try to communicate also to you, the audience, the people which are watching the video, by presenting themselves, by triggering the wind, by using high wind levels, and by using that specific for communication purpose. So I'm filming with a few cameras, and the wind tool I will use for the specific communication. One more time again, this is the wind tool. And the plants behind me you can also watch, because the creatures also can use them to communicate with me and with you, the people which are watching the video later. So I have one camera I'm going to use as a mobile camera. This is this one, and there are the other cameras. That's for your better understanding. You could see the forest, and also here is a huge lake. So you will hear a waterfall in the background, you will hear people, and maybe people are going to come by and going to ask questions, then I'm going to answer their questions quickly. That's for your better understanding. First of all, today I'm here in the park with a few creatures which have lived as human beings before. So not one creature, few. One of them is Willi Herren, a creature who have lived as a German man, and who worked in the media area. He was the film guy in the film business, music business, stuff like that. And he lost his human body a short while ago. And when I moved the camera around, you could see people grilling here in the background. And one of the last times I was here in Bonn in the Rheinau, one of these people were there. So he did ask how Willi Herren is doing. And that's why the creature came to the park today to answer that question. So Willi is here because other people did ask how he's doing. People which were there when I filmed another documentation with him. So Chester is also here. Chester is a creature who have lived also as a man, and who was a musician during his lifetime, and a band member of the band Linkin Park. And with Chester it is the case since a few days. I'm producing video material because I have a new microphone. I'm going to present you the microphone. The new microphone is the one beside the camera over there. And Chester requested a long time ago, long time before I could afford that microphone, that as soon as I have better equipment, he would like to produce some sound videos. So some music videos where he, the creator, is using the natural environment to produce natural sounds. So then you have a tape. As soon as that is done, then you have video material where creator is producing with the natural environment sounds. A creator which have lived as a man before, and which also was a musician during his lifetime, because that's the case in Chester's case. So Chester, as I said, a band member of the band Linkin Park, is also here, and some other creators. There are a few creators in the area where I am, a few creators I do know. It would take too long to explain everything. So for you, the people which are watching the video, it is important to realize I'm one of the humans who is able to communicate with what other people would call ghosts. So I'm able to communicate with ancestors, with creatures which have lived as human beings before. And what's important to realize is they can use the natural environment to communicate with me, and to communicate with you, and to make the communication with me transparent for you, because I can ask questions and they can answer the questions very specifically. So today it is windy, which means there is a lot of wind, because we produced a lot of wind before I turned the cameras on. That's for your better understanding. But the wind can get used very, very specific from creatures which have lived as human beings before. I try to give you an example with the creator Willi Herren. So the creator who have lived as the man Willi Herren. Willi, because it is windy, can you try to arrange a situation where the wind level is reduced, so the wind tune is more quiet? And you can see that now the situation switched and it's becoming more quiet. It's hanging there. Okay? Okay, Willi Herren, can you agree that you are the creator who was called during his lifetime Willi Herren? And if you can agree to that you are the creator who has lived as the man Willi Herren before you lost your human body, then please trigger the wind clearly for that, in a way that the wind tool starts to fly again, and you can of course use the background, the natural environment, to produce more wind, so that the people see the huge difference. So can you identify yourself as Willi Herren? And you can see he's doing exactly that. He's triggering the wind, and he's analyzing the wind. And you can see in the background, if you watch that as well, that a huge wind wave were reaching these trees behind. Okay, so that's the identification of the creator Willi Herren. Okay, and because I'm also going to produce the video with Chester, I'm going to communicate with Chester later also, just for your better understanding. So, Willi, you came because a guy who's sitting over there just asked how you do it, and he's happy about that. He's agreeing to that. Okay, I just explained that to the people, and that's why Willi Herren came today to the Rhino, because people from the crowd did ask about how he's doing, how he's feeling, and if he's all right. So, and with Chester, it was original planned to do today a video in this area here, and also in the area behind me, which you see there, because there on both sides you can see huge trees, and they can get used very well for universal communication by creators which have lived as humans. So, because I have many cameras, it will take a moment to replace the equipment, and I will do that later. So you will get later a video with two pieces, hopefully, if everything works out. One part of the video is captured here, and the other part of the video is gonna be captured back there. So, Chester and Willi are agreeing to the idea, okay? Because we are planning a little bit the video right now as well, and hopefully I do not forget that I want to replace the camera, because that's for your better understanding. So I practice universal communication with creators like Willi Herren, for example, or Chester from the band Linkin Park. If I practice universal communication with them, what you see in the video material is just a little bit, of course, of that what is happening. not only because the amount of cameras is limited, also it is because we do communicate as well by body sharing, which means creatures which have lived as human beings before, like Willi Herren or like Chester, they can influence my human body, they can send signals and informations, and in that way they can also communicate with me. And I have learned to outread and to understand that communication, and you could see how strong a video is. See? Okay. So there's a communication way I cannot make transparent easily to you, the people which are watching the video. But what we can make transparent is if the creators which have lived as human beings before are using the natural environment to communicate with me and with you. And just important to understand is that I have more information than what I can make transparent always in the situation. That's just for you. So the wind tool, I'm going to explain that also a little bit further, in case later they're going to come up with a situation that we have to solve very, very specifically. So only if I request that, but then the wind tool do have on one part, on one side of the tool a star, a gold star, and on the other part there's no gold star. So if I do request specific answers from creators like Willi Herren or like Chester, and if you have to solve problems and they have to answer to solve problems also, then they can use the side with the star to say yes, or the side where no star is placed to say no. But to keep it easy for you, the people which are watching the videos, we're only going to do that in very specific situations, and these situations are always going to explain to you. Otherwise, if I'm not explaining to you a specific situation, they just want to trigger the wind if they want to agree to something, because that's easy for you to see and to understand. And if you watch the background here, the plants, you should see how strong they triggered the wind for that. So to understand the communication I'm practicing with Willi Herren and with Chester, for example, you always have to be aware of the tool, the wind tool, and be aware of the wind in the natural area where I am at. Also, when I'm looking at a specific area, for example, I'm watching now in this direction, and if I would look at a specific tree, and if you do realize that because I'm watching a tree for a little longer while or so, then it is possible that from a huge area, a small part is used for universal communication by creators like the creators. So it is for them possible to use a bigger area, like you have seen it here when all trees are influenced, and it is also possible for them to use just a specific part of an area. So just a small circle, for example, or one plant out of many. That's what you better understand. So these are a lot of informations. So that's why I inform about universal communication also on the website CIembassy.com, because there you have more video material like this, where creators like Willi Herren and like Chester do communicate clearly. And you will find there also a video database which is called the Ancestors Video Database. And in the Ancestors Video Database you will find a lot of videos where creators which have lived as human beings before and which are ancestors of other families, where these creators have presented themselves and communicated clearly to reach out for their living family members because they would like to be in the situation to be able to communicate with them again. So now this were a lot of information, so I apologize for that. The few things I just said are very important, so maybe you write down some notes, and I have to repeat often in the video material the important information in case new visitors are visiting the videos. So you will see me repeating that information in the other videos. I also apologize for that. It's just necessary to inform newcomers just as possible, people which are coming new to the YouTube channel. So, thanks for the agreement. Is it that you want to communicate as well that there are many creators happy that I'm doing that? Yes. You could see it became more quiet when I did ask the question, and then the wind level was triggered again, like it's done right now, specifically to demonstrate that, and before it was to answer with a yes. Okay, that's for your better understanding. So it's a beautiful day, and we want to have a relaxed day, so I'm gonna try to relax. I'm gonna try to drink my beer. Which fell down in between, by the way, when I was talking. So that's also another information I want to pass, because I'm filming with a lot of cameras. Later on you will find a few videos in the internet. You will find of the same moment a few videos. You will find videos from a few of these cameras, so single videos of the cameras, and you will find split screen videos from the same moment where you see different camera fused together, because that's important to understand the situation best as possible. And a single camera views are for the people which want to see more details or which have a small screen, so that they also have a chance to understand the situation. Okay? So, Willi Herren, do you want to say hello to your family members, your living family members as well? Yes, he's producing now wind in the background for that as well. Watch that. He triggered the wind in the background, and that's correct, right? Yes. Okay, and you could see it here in the plant. It's reaching again, and now he's sending another wave. Look at that. So, Willi Herren is feeding his family members, the living family members, the family members which are humans today and which have not lost their human body. And Willi Herren, the creator, is in the situation that he would like his family members to understand that it would be possible for the family members to contact me and to organize an appointment where then Willi Herren is able to communicate with them directly, as specific as he's able to do that here. And he's agreeing to that with the wind wave he did send and by keeping the wind on a high level. See? Okay? So that's, again, very important to understand. After a while, when you have watched a lot of these videos, you can learn to outread the wind which is used in a way that you can see sometimes creators like Willi Herren do react with emotions, and that's why they trigger the wind, sometimes specific and very strong, and sometimes it is just to say yes. But they also can use it, for example, if I explain you something and they want to organize a situation where my focus is on them, so that I ask a specific question to them, explain it to you. Then they also sometimes can arrange situations where they use the natural environment in an unusual way, so that I get disturbed by what I'm doing to ask further questions. You can understand me. So, and Willi Herren, do you agree to that, how I explained that? Yes, especially with the emotions, that was also correct, yes? And he's agreeing to that strongly, that's why he did trigger the wind so strong. Okay, here the wind tool. The wind tool is for me because I'm sitting here, I'm watching that. It's the most easiest way to communicate with Willi Herren here at the moment. But of course I also can watch these plants like you can do that. And a few of the cameras are filming the background. So Willi Herren can use the background here and also on the other side as well, because the cameras are filming all that, just that you know. So Willi Herren was very popular, is very popular here in Germany, and he lost his human body just a short while ago, like I explained. And you did produce music during your lifetime, is that correct? So music, German party songs, stuff like that. Music. And you have been to this reality shows, how they're called, I think, right? In the television, is that correct? Yes. You see, he's triggering and canalizing the wind again, very specific to agree to that. So I'm not so into the German television, not so deep into that, to be absolutely honest. But Willi Herren, I did recognize the face when I did read about his death, because Bonn is very close to Cologne, And Cologne is the city where Willi Herren became popular, and where he's known. So he's known in this area very well from a lot of people. And you have, that's a question, did you have a lot of to do with Carnival? Yes, you can see, I can feel on my skin also that he used a higher wind level. He's doing that again, that's why he's shaking it now, see? So it can work very specific. It's also always a question how I myself do optimize myself in the communication with creators like Willi Herren, and it's a question how good they do optimize themselves in the communication with the human and the optimization between each other. So that's also maybe important to understand if you are not so deep into the topic of universal communication. So today is the first good day of the year regarding the weather. So it's like a party day, not for me so much because I have some pain in my human body, but that has nothing to do with it. But it's a party day regarding the weather. Yeah. And in the past days, I was out with Chester, and I have new cameras which are waterproof, but I'm not using them at this moment in time. So in the past days we were filming weather situations as well, and you can watch these videos on YouTube later. Have you ever seen the video already? Yeah. So the other video we filmed, that's funny. There's a man screaming for help now because Willi said yes, very strong. And you hear the drums now? A plastic thing were going away by the wind. Blowing away in the wind. So they have seen the video? Yes. And you want them to contact me, right? Yes. And he's triggering the wind strong for them. And then we can arrange an appointment. So if they have seen the other video, maybe they're going to see this video here as well. That's why I'm repeating that. But I don't know, do your family members speak English very well? Or do they speak English good enough? Not so good? Not so good? So they are not specialists in English? Okay. Okay, good. I can write something maybe in German under the video. Hopefully I remember that when I upload the video. I'm not sure about that, but if I remember it, I will type something in German as well under the video, because if they do not speak English so well, then I have a good chance to understand it better. And I'm gonna practice a little bit German now in the video, just for one moment, and I'm gonna switch back to English in a moment. So give me a second. So, hallo, das geht an die Familie von Willi Herren, mit dem ich hier gerade kommuniziere, aber in Englisch. Ich habe gehört, dass alle Familienmitglieder nicht so gut in Englisch sprechen, darum spreche ich jetzt kurz Deutsch. Also der Willi hat mir mitgeteilt, einige Familienmitglieder, und es gibt welche, die haben das Video schon gesehen, was ich mit ihm vorher schon aufgenommen habe. Er bestätigt das hier gegen, zeigt einmal den Stern und steigert das Windlevel ganz doll. Ja, das hat er jetzt ganz spezifisch gemacht, wo ich hier mit der Hand rumgefunden habe. Du machst es sogar so, wie ich es mit der Hand gemacht habe. Und der Willi wird sich sehr freuen, wenn ihr euch bei mir mal meldet. Dann können wir einen Termin machen hier in der Bonner Rheinau, und dann kann der Willi Herren wieder genau so zeigen, wie er es auch wieder in diesem Video macht. Und der Willi bestätigt das gegen mit der deutlichen Windstärke. Wenn der Willi es möchte, hier haltet man den Hintergrund kurz im Auge. Jetzt seht ihr nämlich, jetzt biegt er die Pflanze auch gezielt. Und macht jetzt hier richtig Wind für euch, also für die Familie mit. So, das Video spreche ich gleich weiter wieder in Englisch. Da bitte nicht enttäuscht sein, einfach weil ich mit dem Chester auch noch kommunizieren werde. Und der ist im englischsprachigen Raum bekannt, und da sitzen auch seine Freunde und seine Familie. So, möchte der Willi kurz das nochmal wiederholen an dem großen Baum? Nochmal wiederholen? Wird wiederholt jetzt? Zack. Und wieder, wenn die Familie das genau im Auge behält, jetzt fängt er an und steigert noch. Und ihr seht wieder, wie die Pflanze sich gebogen hat. Ne? Jetzt, zack. Ganz gezielt. Ganz deutlich. Und damit grüßt der Willi also seine lebenden Familienangehörigen und lädt die nochmal ein. Und das wollte ich in dem Video kurz auf Deutsch noch erklärt haben, weil das nicht alle wissen. Okay, vielen Dank fürs Weiterzuschauen, oder es wird auch andere Videos vielleicht in Zukunft mit Willi Herren geben. Und ihr könnt euch ja gerne melden und dann könnt ihr das hier einfach live vor Ort selber filmen. Das kann ich die Familienmitgliedern sagen. Da könnt ihr ja die eigenen Kameras aufnehmen. So, vielen Dank fürs Zuhören in Deutsch. So I switch back to English now. So I just spoke a little bit in German to the family members of Willi Herren, because I received the information that they are not perfect in practicing English. So, and that's why I switched to German, because I also speak German to keep it easy for them, because they have the opportunity to contact me for an appointment, and then they would be able to communicate with Willi Herren directly, again, the creator. And that's what I think at the moment in time. And that's what Willi Herren is thinking as well. So I just did try to explain that again to them, because they have seen already one video where they were invited to come. And Willi Herren is agreeing to the fact that his family members have seen a video. A few maybe, or one of his family. One of your family. Yes, one of the family. Okay. You could see when you can rewind the video, so you can also see he was trying to present the start just for a second, then he turned back and used a higher wind level, but that was very clear for me, so I could understand and catch that. So is it okay if I start my communication with Chester? Yeah, okay. So for your better understanding, these creators, because they do networking with each other, if that works out very well, and that is not always the case, but if that works out very well, then they just can switch the position. So another creator can overtake the system, if you want to understand it like that, to keep it easy for your brain, and can use the wind in the next moment. So they can switch there. So is this Chester? Yes. I could see a wind wave reaching the plant here, and now he's doing that specific, and you could see that the wind level is triggered here with the wind tool and in the background. And he's repeating that here at the plant in the background. So that is Chester, who I've lived as a man from the band Linkin Park. And with Chester I did produce some more videos in the past days. Some videos also were wind waterfalls, and where we were trying to capture natural sounds. And I'm gonna do a little break, and I'm gonna replace the equipment. And after that, you're going to see the next part of the video, and we're going to try to capture even more sounds than you already can hear. Because Chester is canalizing a lot of wind to the area and is using a high wind level, so the leaves are producing sound. And to capture that sound better, I will replace the microphone. So thank you for watching this part. We are back in a moment.